from our audience. Nikita, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so used to being behind the camera. This is a little awkward for me. I'll do the best I can.
And what do you know? I'm in front of the camera too. Can you believe that? Hey.
I know. I'm used to telling people what to do, so I'll do a good job.
Join the club. Y'all ready for questions?
Yeah.
All right. Who's the first one?
I am.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. My name is Amelia, and I'm an actor, so I'm gonna go from that perspective a little bit. So in my experience with the issue of agents and artists, what I found was I worked in New York for a while, and it was that chicken and egg situation where...
You said in New York?
Yes.
Okay.
It's that chicken and egg situation where without experience, you really can't get an agent, but also sometimes you need the agent and then you have more work. So that's the situation I found. So now coming into production where you're trying to maybe get a film out or trying to get your work seen by other people, what would you suggest to be the way to go as like an independent artist trying to make work to get maybe a meeting with an agent so that you can eventually show your work to other people? Because for instance, let's say maybe Netflix, if you want to have your work seen, you have to have an agent or an agency tagged to your company so that you can get your work seen. So how would you suggest we go about getting work out there so we can get an agent or an agency on board and then get our work out there to that next level?
So can I ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Just to make sure I give you a good answer.
Right.
First of all, where are you from?
I'm from here, I'm from Ghana.
Oh, okay, Kwaba.
Yeah.
So you have a film that you want a buyer to see.
Right.
And you're having a hard time getting your content in front of a buyer.
Right.
Because you don't have an agent.
Yes.
And you have a list of buyers that you think this project would be good for.
Right.
Okay. So let me not answer the question for a second. Let me give some backdrop.
Yeah.
So buyers are also have similar instincts that agents have, to the extent that they're always looking for talent also, right? You know, they scour the blacklist. You know, you guys are familiar with Blacklist, and they know who's winning Sundance and South by Southwest and Slam Dance and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I would say, and so that's the same strategy you would use to get an agent. The same strategy it would take you to get their attention would be the same strategy you would use to get an agent.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I don't want you to tell me what your project is. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Right.
But I would ask myself to be certain, is your content, you have to know your audience. Is your content right for those platforms? Is it right for that buyer? And are you, if you're certain, then target that buyer, because you'll be targeting agents and managers at the same time while you're trying to get in the face of those buyers, right? So I would say, instead of trying to get, if I'm selling content, if my goal is to sell content, that would be my goal. And then if I get a manager or agent along the way, I'll just get a manager or agent along the way.
Okay.
So, and this is something that I don't like, okay? I don't like when people have, and I'm not saying this about you, so, and I'm saying this what I don't like, hoping you don't fall into this category, is that you have one project that you want to pitch, right? Like maybe you have one film that's finished, but people want to be in business with a brand, right? Because they want to be in business. If you're one and done, even if the project is awesome, I don't know that an agent would want to engage if it's just one project that you put all of your resources in, and there's no other brand that comes out of you. So if you have a project that you think is suitable for a third-party buyer, I would say maybe put that project into a film festival, you know, maybe try to submit it to the Blacklist, probably try to get some coverage for it, that sort of thing, and do the same thing with other scripts that you have to kind of create some momentum and some heat for yourself. And then if it's good, and if it's very good, they'll find you.
Okay.
But just make sure that you're targeting the right people, right? I hear people say Netflix all the time, because in their mind, Netflix wants everything. And you know, having an agent is advantageous because I just so happen to know what they're looking for. Like I had lunch with several executives. As a matter of fact, there are 2 executives there that went to Howard. And so I can sit and talk to them and ask them, what are you looking for? If I come to you with this thing, would you buy it? What can I come to you and you'll buy 100% of the time? So I do know that as an agent. That's how agents earn their 10%. But as a filmmaker, you know, like you're looking like they want very high-end premium content, you know, with fancy names attached. And if you have something like that, then I would say, try to get it to Netflix. If not, then that might be an independent film that you produce yourself, that you try to four-wall and travel around and make money off of it. And then maybe it's an acquisitions deal that you're doing. So I can't really answer your question because I don't know the details of it, the intimacies of it, and I don't want you to share it here in this forum. But I would say pursue an agent and the third-party buyer at the same, because it use the same strategy.
Okay.
But in creating your strategy, make sure you have the right strategy for your content.
Okay. Great.
I don't know if that helped. I did the best I could.
Girl, you did fine.
My name is Isaac. My question is, how do I make my movie a crossover that blacks will enjoy and then whites will also enjoy it?
I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Make a good movie. I love The Burial of Kojo. I loved Beast of the Southern Wilds. I liked Beast of No Nation.
Beast of No Nation.
I liked it. I don't know that they were necessarily trying to make a movie that African Americans would like. I don't know if they were necessarily trying to make a movie that would cross over to the Americas. I do know they were trying to make a very good movie. And I would focus on that. I liked, I didn't mind Long Walk to Freedom. I really did like Winnie. You know, these are some international films that I just so happen to like. But I don't know if, you know, okay, so I did just say a moment ago that you have to be a business person. You have to be 100% business and 100% artistic, right? So your business mind is telling you to make a film that people will buy, and I applaud that. Your artistic mind needs to say, let's make a film that's gonna be awesome, right? And then hopefully you can sell it. Hopefully you can sell it. I wouldn't try to create, I wouldn't try to write a film with that burden on me. Try to write a script that's awesome, try to make a script that's awesome, hire someone in marketing to help you sell it. I don't know how to make a film that you know, a small set of people, and African Americans, we're a minority in that country, right? I don't know how to make a film that African Americans would like, but I think I can tell you how to make a good film, and I think you know how to make a good film. Make a good film. In the States, one thing that helps is talent. So if you have a piece of talent that's a recognizable African American, but I don't know that because I don't know what your script is. So that would a piece of talent that would appeal to us, would that person help move your script forward? These are strategic questions for you to ask. I don't know if I can answer it right now, but I would say focus on making a really, really, really good film. You know, and then I think that'll sell itself. I want to go back, I'm sorry. I want to go back to the young lady earlier who was asking a question. Being in the business of selling scripts is a terrible business to be in. One thing that agents really hate to do is we hate to pitch projects, right? Because you can pitch stuff and people can say yes or they can say no. Nothing is a slam dunk. I've had Jamie Foxx attached to projects people passed on. We've had, at my agency, we've had Kim Kardashian attached to things and people passed on them, right? One thing people aren't as quick to pass on is intellectual property. So if you have a script, I don't really get all that excited when folk have scripts, even if the script is good, because even a good script can get passed on. People may not make it. But if you have some sort of awesome intellectual property, like a book, and I'm saying you as a lesser known or perhaps an unknown, and I hope that that's not offensive to you, but an unknown filmmaker, if you have a piece of intellectual property that people can only get and manipulate through a business relationship with you, that's an awesome strategy in order to get your project made and to get your name recognized. So if you can find, let's say, a book series or a book that perhaps was a bestseller or maybe almost a bestseller that you can own the rights to, and people can't make that movie without you, then that's a great business strategy to take. If you just have an awesome script, everybody has an awesome script, right? And so the script being awesome, the movie being awesome is just one of several, right? But let's say you have the life rights of, you know, a chief here in this country, or the life rights of someone who did something awesome, or, you know, My Big Fat Greek Wedding was a play. Let's say you own the rights to a play and you can make that into a TV show or a film. Think of a business strategy that will fasten you to the business so that the project has to be made with you. Mm-hmm. Just having a script is...
That's good. Very good.
Mm-hmm. My name is Hazel, and my question is almost as the First Lady. I was asking if you have let's just say, if you have a script that you want to produce into a movie, what would you suggest would be the best process if you want to have a collaboration between Ghana and the US? What would you suggest would be the best process? Whether do you need an agent or do you need a manager, or what's the way forward?
You said what would be the best process for what?
Well, to be able to produce that script into a movie, that's what I mean.
So listen, make the movie anyway, right? Make the movie anyway. Mm-hmm. If you don't have an agent, if you don't have a big attachment, if it's a project that's your pet project, make the film anyway. And I say that to say, especially to you first-time filmmakers, because I went to school, I studied film, but I didn't become an expert in making movies until I made my first film. So I learned way more about how to make movies until, you know, so when I made my very first film and that film got distribution. So if you have never made a film before, I would just tell you just to make the movie, right? Make the movie so that you're actually a filmmaker and you actually have that under your belt and you know how to manage a budget, you know how to manage a schedule, you know how to manage a crew. Do that. That'll make you a professional. That'll help you get work in the future, right? Don't be frustrated if the film is not received. Don't be frustrated if you don't make the money back, because the experience that you'll be creating for yourself is invaluable. It's like having a master's degree. So I would say make the film, right? And I say that to say the last two questions that I've gotten is, how do I make a movie that's then successful in the States? How do I make a movie that's then acceptable to African Americans? No one can answer that question. You know what I mean? Like, Hollywood can spend $20 million on a film that bombs. I have a client right now. His film, they spent about $15 million, probably $20 million. He got about $2.5 million, and the film didn't do any business. So entertainment is a gamble. We can't guarantee anything. It's not a jackpot. I don't know how to say, if you do this, your film will be successful here. I don't know how to do that. But for you all as new filmmakers, and is this your first film? I would say make the film, so that now you're a film executive, you're a film expert. You'll be an expert after your first feature film. I don't know if people like it. I don't know if your film is good. I hope it is, Hazel. But I would say make the movie so that then you can get more work in the future as a producer or as a writer, because now you have a reel. Okay. And then I hope people like it. You will hire an executive producer, someone like Kalita, to help you make the script good, or you hire a marketing executive, or someone to help you try to sell it. Perhaps to try. Nobody makes any guarantees. I can't even guarantee work for my clients. But I would rather for you have the credit than to not have the credit, because you will never make a second film till you make your first film.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Very good.
Hi, my name is Kweku.
Kweku!
Yes.
Born on Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah!
You're
I'm
Wednesday born.
a queer.
Hey, my female name
Charlie.
So I'm an actor.
Yes, you are. I can tell.
I'm an actor, and so the first question is, I'll be very quick. The first question is about, I just wanted to ascertain what you said earlier. So you said you cater for writers, directors, and producers, is that right? In terms of your...
Yeah, so for me, primary directors and producers.
Okay, so in terms of actors at Paradigm, how would that work if...
So I don't deal with actors at all. I have two clients that are hyphenates that are producers, and so the two, one is an actor, producer, and she's also a news personality, like she's a presenter, and then another gentleman is an actor, a writer, and also a producer. And I represent them, but I don't have any actors who are actually actors. I really don't even know how the acting business works. Because I feel like, there's so many actors that are needed at any given time, and the way that they're moved around is very interesting. I've never been an actor. I've never represented actors. I mean, I have hired actors before, obviously, from a production side. I just don't necessarily but that's not, what was your question?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ascertain that, first of all. The second part is for my future producing self. So basically, you said something as part of your second answer to Amelia about owning intellectual property for stuff. So let's say a producer has intellectual property to a novel or short story or anthology of stuff. And then on that slate, they also have short film, they have feature films, they have series and things like that. What would be, and let's say the focus is for an Africa, the target market is looking at the Africa. In terms of the stories are African based. What would be the approach if these, if this was to be taken up to the next level in terms of Netflix, and what would
So it depends on what the intellectual property is. If it's something that was already valuable, like if it were, like I said, a best-selling novel, or something close to a best-selling novel, with a recognizable name, a marketable name. If, let's say, it had a celebrity forward, or if it was written by a celebrity. I have a client right now who has the rights to a book about, I shouldn't give it all away, but celebrities who've been incarcerated and stories that they wrote while they were incarcerated. And it has a celebrity who wrote a foreword for it. So the film never placed on the bestsellers list. However, the property is still valuable. It's still a very interesting property. It has a very catchy name, a very catchy title. So it's a valuable piece of intellectual property, right? So it depends on what the intellectual property is. Let me give you an example. There was these two writers. I'll never forget Josh, well, I guess I will forget because I don't remember the other one. But Josh and his writing partner, right? Young writers, they had just graduated from college, had not sold a script yet. But these boys were so business savvy that they came into my office, and I still don't know how they got into my office, who introduced me to them. But in my mind, this was just a meeting I was gonna have. I was gonna rush them out of the door and, be away with them. This is when I was an executive with Jamie Foxx. And they were writers, and they were telling me about the projects that they wanted to write, and I've got these features, and I've got these TV shows, we're trying to do this. And they said, however, I own the rights, they own the rights to this book. And it was a book I had never heard of. And the book was about one of the biggest drug kingpins in Pennsylvania on the East Coast. And it was a real story. It was a story of this gentleman's life. They bought the rights, the TV, at these college students. They bought the TV, and it was inexpensive because no one else wanted it. There was no one to negotiate against them. They bought the TV and the film rights to this book, and they got the life rights to the man it was about. Ooh! I was like, are you
That's
kidding
amazing.
me? And it was a story I had never heard before, and I was very excited. I did a deal with them immediately, you know, and so the next thing I know, we're on the phone with HBO, we're on the phone with Showtime, we're trying to sell it to MTV. This is before Netflix was as popular. They weren't investing as much money in projects, so they weren't a priority, but we were doing the very best we could to sell this project because the story was awesome. We had exclusive rights to it. Even if we decided not to do a story along the guidelines of the book, we had the gentleman's life rights. And so, you know, we could wiggle in quite a few ways. Ultimately, we didn't sell it because HBO had Cocaine Cowboys. And that was something competing with us in the marketplace. But their business strategy was incredible. And so then what happened, we began to continue to do business with them. Brilliant. There won't be a time when Josh or his business partner, whose name I can't remember, calls me and I'm not doing business with them. I mean, they're both busy now. Right. One of them worked on Godfather of Harlem and the other one is writing somewhere else. So they went on to have you know, great writing careers, but it started with that. Everyone saw them as professionals, right. Even though they hadn't sold one thing yet, but they were very professional. They had a very professional strategy. I say that to say, don't just have a piece of property. Don't just have a book, you know, that someone wrote and that you pick up at a bookstore or at a gift shop. Make sure it's something that you can negotiate against, right? Okay. It's a good piece of property that you can then sell, right?
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi everybody, it's Kay Stokes, General Manager and Executive Director of Dominion Television. Listen, thank you so much for watching our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends about the quality Christian lifestyle content that Dominion TV has to share. Yebe Sheabio. See you again soon, and may God richly bless you. Keep watching.